Good evening, everyone. This side, Sangamitra from National Health Authority. I'm working over here as a consultant. And along with me is Yogesh. He's also working as a consultant in NHA. Today, we are here to have the webinar on the revised guidelines for DHIS, which is Digital Health Incentive Scheme. And recently, we have actually introduced some relaxations in this policy. So we just wanted to get on board everyone so that everybody is aware about this. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. So just to share you the background of how this digital health incentive scheme had come up. This was actually introduced last year in December, and the launching of this scheme happened in January. So the main aim was that all the stakeholders, which are hospitals, which are labs, the small clinics and the nursing homes, they should be able to get some benefits out of this digital health incentive scheme. Whatever cost is incurred in that digitization process, we wanted to reimburse some of that cost also. Plus, we wanted to make these stakeholders have an easy adoption for the ABDM ecosystem. And thirdly, since we were giving financial incentives, we thought that this would act as one motivator for them to enable digitization in their respective organizations. Now, coming to the scheme, the main stakeholders for the scheme are as shown in the slide, which are hospitals, clinics, and nursing homes. In the old policy, which we had from January to March, which means from 1st January to 31st March, we were having the bed criteria for the hospitals. So we were only making those hospitals eligible which were having at least 10 beds in the facility, 10 IPD beds. But now we have removed this criteria because we had feedback from our stakeholders, and we actually wanted to benefit those hospitals also which had less beds, or those which were daycare centers or the small clinics. So the transaction limit for both hospitals as well as labs, it is amounting to the same eligible criteria, which is 20 rupees per transaction. Now, for the digital solution companies, which are basically the software providers in the hospitals or in the labs, we have clubbed them into two categories. So one is the hospital management information system and one is lab information management system. The another category is the health locker and the teleconsultation. So both of these entities, we are giving rupees 5 per transaction. If you want to ask the definition of transaction, will come in the later slide and we'll understand what a transaction means actually. Now this is the eligibility criteria which stands into force with effect from 1st of April. As I mentioned that all the health facilities, which means the clinics, the hospitals, the nursing homes, they should be having the software linkage with ABDM. But we have removed the bed count here. So this is the only criteria which is required for the hospital. The labs and the radiology centers, they should again be registered in the HFR, which is the primary criteria, that they should be a part of health facility registry. And in the health facility registry, they can register themselves as imaging center or a diagnostic lab. Now coming to the digital solution companies, here there are basically two criteria for them. One criteria is applicable to the HMIS and the LMIS players. So these HMIS and the LMIS players, they should be at least associated with 10 facilities, which means that at least 10 hospitals or 10 labs should be using their software. On the other hand, if I talk about the eligibility criteria for the locker and the teleconsultation services, the criteria is that they should be having at least 500 transactions a month. So up to 500, they won't get any incentive. After 500, the incentive starts. Now, this is actually the criteria which has been reflected in detail on this slide. For hospitals, clinics, and nursing homes, the base level criteria is set to 100 transactions a month, which means that up to 100 transaction, if any facility is doing, then we are not giving any incentive. So basically, incentives are going to start after 100 transactions. And the base limit is actually same for both lab as well as the hospitals. Now, the incentive amount is also same for both hospitals as well as labs, which is rupees 20 per additional transaction above the base level. I'll just take an example here. For example, any hospital is doing 200 transactions a month. So up to 100 transactions, the hospital is not going to get any incentive. But actual incentive is going to start after crossing the 100 transaction, which means the hospital is going to get here 100 into 20, which means 2,000 rupees is what the hospital will earn here as an incentive. Now, if I talk about the digital solution company, let's see, I use the same example here that there is a digital solution company, the software provider, which is the services for which are being used in a hospital. The same hospital which was doing 200 transactions, if the DSC also claims incentive here, then the DSC is going to get 100 into 5 rupees, which means 500 rupees is what the DSC will earn against this hospital. As I was mentioning, for the health locker and the teleconsultation providers, the base capping is 500 transactions per month. Now, again, the incentive is the same, which means rupees 5 would be given after 500 transactions are done. Just a second, my screen has frozen actually. We are just resuming. There's some IT issue. Sorry for the glitch. So as I was mentioning about the digital solution companies, that those with health locker and the teleconsultation providers, they are supposed to do at least 500 transactions a month to get incentives. Now, here are some examples which I have selected to give you a better understanding of how the incentive scheme works. Let's say there is a hospital which is doing 500 transactions in a month. Now, first we will calculate what is the eligible transactions here. So as I mentioned that the base capping is 100. So we'll subtract 500 minus 100, which comes as 400 transactions. So although the total transactions are 500, but the eligible transactions for that particular hospital is 400. And we will multiply it by 20 because for one transaction we are giving 20 rupees. So the hospital here is going to get 8,000 rupees as the incentive. Now, if I talk about the corresponding digital solution company, which now is going to get incentive of, we will first calculate the base, which is 500 total transaction which the hospital has done, minus 100 because the capping is the same, 400 transaction, but we'll multiply it by 5. So the DSC is going to get 2,000 rupees.
So since screen is not visible.
Is my screen not visible? Okay, thank you. So this is how we will calculate the incentive for both the hospital as well as the DSC. The second example states that the hospital is doing 60 transactions in a month. Now, as we have seen that as per our eligibility criteria, we need to have at least 100 transactions. So in this case, we are not going to give any incentive, neither to the facility, neither nor the DSC. Now, the third example is that there is a hospital where the scan and share tokens are being generated, 450 in number, using the ABDM software, ABDM compliant software. So in this case, we also include in our transaction definition that scan and share is a part of the digital health incentive scheme. So we will count these tokens generated also as the eligible criteria for the incentive scheme. So again, we would subtract the base level here, 450 minus 100, which comes as 350, and we would multiply it by 20. The facility is going to get here as 7,000 as the incentive amount. And DSC would again get as 5 rupees per transaction. Now, this is actually the comparison between the old scheme and the new scheme. For hospitals, we had the initial criteria of minimum 10 beds, that the hospital has to have minimum 10 beds to claim the incentives. But now that criteria has totally been removed. Another difference is that for a lab, we have reduced the base level transaction. Initially, it was 500. Now we have brought down it to 100 as the base level. For a DSC, the amount is the same because initially we were giving 25% of the incentive, which is received by the hospital. But now we have given it as a standard number, which is rupees 5 per transaction. So there is not much of a difference for a DSC. However, as per the old policy, we were giving 20% extra incentive if the DSC is certified by Quality Council of India. But now we have actually removed that clause. We are not going to give any additional incentive here to the DSC if the DSC is QCI certified. For a locker, we also have again reduced the base level of transactions. We had 2,000 as the base level criteria for DSC, but now we have reduced it to 500. And as I mentioned in the previous slide, that we have included scan and share transactions also. We were not giving any incentives for that in the old policy, but for this new policy applicable from 1st April, we have actually included scan and share also. And the base level criteria is the same. It is 100 transactions minimum. Now, coming to what a transaction means. So the definition of transaction is basically divided into two parts. First is that the health record is getting generated. Now, a health record could be anything. It could be a discharge summary. It could be any OPD prescription or any lab report, any kind of document which is generated for that patient. Now, just generation of the health record is not important. It should also be linked to the Aadhaar address of that patient. Then only we will call it as a transaction. And as I mentioned that the scan and share feature also is included now in the incentive scheme, and we call that as a transaction. But the corresponding hospital is definitely going to get the incentive, but the PHR app here is not going to get incentive. HMIS or LMIS, which is being run in that hospital or the lab, is going to get incentives here for the scan and share feature. Now there comes a very important clause, which is, we call it as 1 and 5 clause. So let's say that as a patient, I have had 5 kind of encounters today in the hospital I visited. I have consulted a doctor. Doctor had generated a prescription, and then doctor had suggested me 2-3 lab tests and maybe one X-ray also. So total 5 transactions are done for me. But the incentive scheme is going to count only 1 transaction out of those 5. And similarly, for a complete month, if whatsoever number of transactions are done in a complete month, we are going to calculate only 5 transactions which are eligible for the incentive scheme. So it is basically maximum of 1 transaction per day and 5 transactions per month against the Aadhaar address, which would be a unique address for every patient. These are some of the documents which are required for digital health incentive scheme. Any entity like hospital or a clinic or a lab, they have to register in the HFR portal, and the digital solution companies, they have to register in the sandbox portal. Now, 4 kind of documents are basically required for this registration. One is the cancelled check. One is the cancelled check of that entity, which is having all the details. The initial 4 details like the name, the bank account number, the name and address of the bank branch and IFSC code, they all would be mentioned in the cancelled check. The second document required is the PAN card of the entity. The third type of document is the bank mandate form, and 4th is the annexure form. We'll just see in the next slides how it looks like. This is how the calculation of incentives would be done. We would initially try to keep it once a month payment cycle, but going forward, when the number of incentives, the number of claims would be increasing, we would be keeping it as twice a month. Also, one important thing here is that if any facility is doing transactions which are worth rupees 2,500 as the claim amount, we would be crediting that. But if it is less than 2,500, let's say if any facility this month has done 1,000 rupees incentive amount, they have earned rupees 1,000 as an incentive amount, but we will not be able to credit that rupees 1,000 in the same month. but it would be on a cumulative basis. So maybe next month they do 1,500 more, and then the total is 2,500. Then we would be able to credit that amount. So this is just to minimize the administrative workload, because although we have our tech systems in place, but still some manual work is required at our end. This is actually the email ID of the DHIS team, abdm.incentive. It is abdm.incentive also and abdm.incentives also. So both are working. And this is actually the screenshots which we have taken for the facility which has logged in into HFR, and they would be able to see the tab of registration. So once the software linkage has been done, they have put the bridge ID, and then they are able to see this tab here. And they would be required to upload these documents which are mentioned over here. Again, the bank details are mentioned here. This is how the uploading of the documents would take place. So I was telling you that the cancelled check and the PAN card would be mandatory. For now, the bank mandate form, we had actually kept it as non-mandatory for a while, but we would need it to process the claims. So I would suggest that this is also an important step here. Bank mandate form basically means that the bank is certifying that yes, this is the name of the entity and the account holder is this. So this bank certifies on your behalf. And annexure form is only needed when there is some discrepancy between the entity name and the bank holder name. So it is only required in that case. Otherwise, it is not mandatory. Now we are actually doing a change in this step. We are bringing Aadhaar authentication and the e-sign mandate in the beginning of the registration. So like in this screen, you are seeing it once the registration is finished. But going forward, maybe by this week end, we would bring it as the first step for registration. This is how the e-sign template would look like once that step is completed. This is the screenshot taken for the digital solution company when they log in into the sandbox. Again, there would be same details which would be required, just like for any facility. So we have seen today how we have brought out relaxations in the digital health incentive scheme, and how are we going to process the claims. We are going to soon have integration with PFMS also, so that is also something in the pipeline. Now we are open to questions. As I can see that 2 participants have raised hand. Sumit.
Hi. First of all, thanks a lot for this updated information. And I would like to ask you, because my startup, we are actually launching some healthcare devices. Okay. And basically, we are developing diagnostic devices, and we are going to put all those devices at most of those PHCs or wellness centers, which are working under Ayushman Bharat Yojana. Okay. So
what kind of devices, Sumit?
Basically, we are doing diagnostic testing. So for the test kit reader, so we are like helping many tests, let's say HIV, COVID, and many other, like we are considering more than 150 tests there, hepatitis and many other tests. And we are like digitally reading those tests with quantitative analysis. And we are exporting those reports linked with your Aadhaar card. Basically, and we are exporting those to the ABDM platform.
Okay. So it is like POCT, if I'm not
exactly.
wrong.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So my question is, in that case, how do you consider? Because we are like we are not directly linking with LMI system or something. So we're gonna have our own softwares, which is going to be linked with Aadhaar card, right? So in that case, how we are eligible for this incentive program? We are like, I mean, basically we are trying to connect all those wellness center to the BDM platform, and importantly, our scope is to connect wellness centers from the rural area. So that is something we are focusing and targeting as of now.
And Sumit, who would be your client here? As in, you would be working for whom?
Like I said, right now we are running one pilot project. So we are going to start with the Maharashtra state. Okay. So under government's wellness centers, let's say we have around several thousand wellness centers, right? But we are only targeting where we can have technical facilities available there. And we have some lab technicians who can take care of the device, who can conduct the test. And through them, we are trying to export the reports to the BDM platform.
All right,
So probably
all
you
right.
can say PSCs, you can say primary healthcare centers, you can say.
Okay. So, Sumit, if the report is going to be generated on your portal,
Mhm.
so then we can consider you as LMIs.
Okay, got it.
Otherwise, I don't find yet any other option for you.
Okay, got it. And I have one second question. Again, we are developing some new test kits. So for example, we are trying to conduct multiple tests on a single test kit. Okay. So let's say influenza A, influenza B, and COVID. So we are conducting 3 tests under one test kit. So in that case, will it be considered as a single test when we are reporting reports, right? Because we are reporting all those things to the BDM platform. So there will be 3 test reports.
Mhm.
Will it be a single test or 3 tests? It will be considered.
So, Sumit, if it is done in a single day, let's see all the types of tests are done in a single day, then I would be able to count only one as the transaction.
Okay.
But
got it.
let's say if it is done, let's say one is done today and another one is done tomorrow, then I can count it as 2.
Understood.
And similarly, maximum what I can count is 5 in a month. So more than 5, I will not be able to count in a month.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Rahul.
Hello,
Rahul
ma'am. Good
Tripathi.
afternoon,
Hi, Rahul.
ma'am. I have a single question that we are doing, ma'am, our registration through scan and share module, and we are, ma'am, looking further for LMIS too. Ma'am, I am just want to ask that if these if only one transaction is allowed for per day,
Uh-huh.
ma'am, it would be connected to each other, or it would be counted in different way.
So, Rahul, you are saying that you are LMIS also, plus you are doing generating scan and share tokens also, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So, Rahul, what we'll do, we'll sum up both these. I mean, the transactions from LMIS plus the scan and share transactions, the token generated. We'll
Yes.
add up both of these, and then we are going to apply this 1 and 5 clause.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, that would be very better because the person, ma'am, that limit should be around to 10, ma'am. Because when the patient comes to our hospital, he goes to very different. Ma'am, when we are going to implement that radiology wala system RIS, ma'am, at that time this limit would create a hindrance.
No, definitely we'll take that point. But for this policy, I mean, this new revised policy, the limit is 1 and 5 only. But definitely we can consider if the transactions are more, or if we have more stakeholders associated with us. Rahul, I hope your question is answered. Okay, Pankaj.
Hi, thanks, ma'am. Thanks for the excellent detailing. Look, we are just fairly new, and this is my first presentation wherein we are trying to get a handle of everything. So what we do is we have got a solution right now deployed in around more than 1,000 plus clinics, and it's a paper and a pen solution. Whatever the doctor writes on that piece of paper, it digitizes instantly. and there is a
Okay.
prescription record which is created, and we are generating more than 1.5 lakh prescriptions every month, and we are growing at around 15-20% every month. So in next few months we'll
All
hopefully
right.
be around 2 lakh, and we've got
What is the
already.
name,
Sorry,
Pankaj? What
sorry,
is the
ma'am.
name of the company?
The
What is
name
the
of the
name of
company
the
is
company?
WonderRx, WONDRX.
Okay.
So it's a
Okay.
very easy to adopt solution because doctors don't have to type; they continue writing, and still they are digitizing the entire patient records. And
All right.
we already have digitized more than 15 lakh prescriptions. So my only help which I need from you guys is any technical help so that we can integrate with Sandbox and we can be a good contributor of around 2-3 lakh prescriptions every month to you.
Sure, sure. We are definitely there for that. You can write to us on the mail ID integration.support@nha.gov.in.
Can you type it,
If
ma'am, in the
yeah, I can. We can type it in the chat box.
yeah,
So any kind of query with respect to the milestones M1, M2, M3,
yeah.
you can send us email on this, and we will have it replied.
Sure, that will be a great help. And second,
So
just
I have Gurpreet also with me, who is from the integration team.
okay.
If you have any queries specific to integration, he can answer those.
Yeah, so I will have to bring in my technical team from my startup. I am not the technical guy over here.
No problem, no
But
problem.
then that's the model. So I think, and then we have got a lot of lab reports which patients are uploading onto our app, their X-rays, their MRIs, and everything. So we are a integrated solution provider for a lab, for a radiology, pathology, pharmacy. So all these documents, health records of the patients are aggregating onto our system. So we wanted to see how we can collaborate with you guys on this.
Sure, sure.
So to answer that, you can basically visit the Sandbox site and you can register on Sandbox to start your integration journey with ABDM.
Okay, no, so we have registered, but I think there are some technical complexities the team was facing. So if we can set up a technical call wherein our solution architect and the team can be given some hand holding to get going.
I just wanted to ask that in this application, what you have selected as a type of entity, whether it is government or private?
It's a private.
Okay, okay. So I think so that would be I think so you need to write on integration.support. I think so they would reach out to you.
Fair enough, we'll do that as well. And second quick observation and feedback was, look, on the incentivization, while it will not impact us because our volumes are pretty high, but if somebody is contributing 100 or 500, and delimiting them would be not good, because if look, somebody is making an effort of 501, he would lose on the entire incentives of 500 which you would have done. That was one. And
No, but
why 5 rupees to the solution providers, wherein they can be your best contributors in the whole aggregation of data?
no,
It's a
but you come to
discrimination.
see the volume. No, it's not discrimination. If the volume is going to pick up, then it's not a discrimination anymore.
Yeah, no. So, but we can be, so look, your objective is to get the whole data at one particular place integrated. We are your best partners to give you the transaction. Hospitals normally do not take efforts. We will be the guys who will take efforts. And 1/4 of their incentive is really a discrimination for us. You should relook at that, please.
We'll relook.
Yeah,
Sure.
thanks a lot. Thank you.
Saurabh Jain. Saurabh Jain, you had any question?
Yeah, hi. This is Saurabh from Genitary Innovations. We have maternity or pregnancy-related healthcare devices as well as software. So our software is mainly focused in the labor duration, right? So whatever data which has to be filled in during labor, whatever is required for partograph, we collect that data, and that data all comes every 30 minutes. So how will the transaction system work? That was first question.
So basically, you have HMIS. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We are not HMIS completely. We just look into the labor part of the whole journey right now at this point of time.
Okay, and where this record is, being populated on the hospital software, or how is it?
So I'll give you a brief understanding of how our offerings are. So we have our software which is deployed with hospitals. That is, we are working with a couple of governments as well. That is, the goal is to digitalize the labor ward, and there is a very common practice of creating photographs, which was done till date manually on paper, and there were a lot of problems, human errors because of that. Sometimes it happens post delivery, which is not something like that's not a standard practice or that shouldn't be done. It is the whole idea of photograph is to help during the like for doctor to take better decisions how they want to move ahead with the pregnancy or there are any complications or not. So our software digitizes that process, and with for that you have to record data every 30 minutes. There are 6 parameters which are recorded every 30 minutes. We do have hardware for that as well, but there is no necessity of hardware. So just trying to understand whenever we get that data will be sync. So for us, we sync that data to our servers because there is a live monitoring aspect to it as well. So how will it work when we integrate with ABA?
So, Saurabh, till now, we don't have any entity with us like you, but yes, definitely we can work on this because you are neither HMIS nor LMIS nor health locker nor teleconsultation. So we'll have to create some separate category type for you. So I'll have to discuss this with the NHA leadership, and then we can take it forward. If you can give me your contact details, you can ping me separately on the chat. So then we'll take it forward.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. I'll drop my contact details, and if possible, share your contact details as well so I can reach out in the future.
Sure, sure. You can ping me on the chat.
I don't think there is an option to ping you directly. Is
You can mention your email ID on the chat. I think that should be done. Then we'll connect.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Shilpi, Shilpi, are you there? Dinesh, are you there, Dinesh?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm there. Good evening, ma'am. So
Hi.
my question is, we are actually planning to build one ABA app in a startup manner. So what are the compliance and the regulations I need to follow while building the app? And the basis of the security purpose, the data privacy and all. Where are the compliance and the rules and regulation? Whom to approach to get all these data?
Sir, first of all, have you registered on Sandbox?
No, sir. I had aware of and all.
So, sir, first of all, I think so you would be requiring your registration to be done on Sandbox. Secondly, is that you should be for security purpose, the security audit that is to be done for each and every step, like P1, P2, P3, P4. There are separate stages. So for that, you must have a certain impaneled agency that is doing your security audit.
Okay.
Okay. While you are building, and there are some APIs that would be required. You need to consume those APIs for building your ABA application, and then you will have one functional testing for each and every step, like P1, P2, P3, P4 for every functionality which you have built for your ABA application. There would be separate functional testing that would be required, security audit that would be done, one HTC demo that would be done at each and every step. After that, when you'll get the approval, so you'll be shared with the production keys which you can deploy on production server.
Okay, sir. My next doubt is like whether we are having incentive for registration, like the same. Are we having anything for developing of app?
No, there is no incentive for developing of app. Incentive is purely based on the transactions you do.
Okay, like if a multinational, like big corporates are already using their patient registration system. So
So if you're
government
generating
helping?
scan and share tokens,
Okay,
then
that is like
you are
barcode or QR code, anything like that, right?
correct. That is QR code based scan and share.
Okay.
So if you are a part of that, then you would be eligible.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, Dinesh. Sure.
Can you share your contact details in case if any clarifications needed further, I can message you.
Yeah, I will just share my email ID on the chat.
Sure, thank you.
Sure. Shivaranjan? Shiva Nagarjun, sorry.
Yeah, hi ma'am. Good evening.
Hi.
Yeah, actually I have three questions. Number one, we have the app for online consultation, video consultation for doctor and patient, right? So is there any way we'll get incentives here? So the doctor can, yeah ma'am, please ma'am.
Sure. You'll get the incentive because then you would registered as a teleconsultation provider. But
Yeah,
only the prescription generated should be linked to the ABA address.
So the prescription linked by the doctor, right?
Yeah, doctor only.
So then how the PHR app, the mobile application owner, like we are from the Wownest, how we'll get from the incentives? So every once the doctor uploaded any document, so the incentives will come to us.
No, sir, this would follow. There are two types of flows that are currently being implemented for the for milestone 2 linkage. That are the user initiated linking and the HIP initiated linking. So
Yes.
if so whatever records you would be linking either from the HIP side or user would be initiating from your user would be searching it on his behalf. So that would be linked on the ABDM network. Okay,
Yes.
so that application, that record would be reflecting on the personal health record application. You can say either ABHA app or any other personal health record application that would reflect under my record section of the person, because here patient would log in with his ID, with his ABHA address.
Yes.
In that case, so that would be visible to him and that number would reflect on the dashboard.
Yes.
When he links his record. So based on that, I think incentive would be provided.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And second question, so already I mailed this integration support team regarding the APIs are not clear in the PHR side. Okay, so we integrated M1 successfully using the APIs, whatever we have, but M2 and M3 are facing some issues like fetching the consent list and all. So please, can you, is there any option to call one-to-one session? Like then we can, it's easy
sir,
for.
What
Yes.
is your entity type, first of all?
Wownest entities are healthcare facilities. Like
entity is private or government?
Private.
So, sir, I think so. The respective POC would definitely reach out to you because.
No, sir. I mailed last Monday. Okay, still I got today. I got mail like so we have escalated the issue with the technical team. We'll revert once the resolution received from the tech team. I got the mail from this. Is there any chance to call one-to-one calls? Or then we have some issues.
No, sir. There is just one email ID that has been provided, integration.support. I think so. The respective POC would reach out.
Sir, if you can again do the top up on that mail, and I'll request somebody from that team to get in touch with you as soon as possible.
Okay, please, ma'am. Because we stuck in the second thing. So, can you please arrange one webinar for the PHR PHR integrators? Because the APIs and the data not there in the websites and all, so we are getting some difficulty to understand. Because last call, what we found, like the APIs are not correctly uploaded in the website, and they're the postman collections.
So session you wanted to have with respect to integration, right?
Yes, PHR, the mobile app integrations.
Sure. We can do it.
Yeah.
We first need to check with that.
We will first check with the team and then arrange it.
We'll
Please
get back to
Can
you.
can
Okay.
we have your contact number? I mean, or your email ID?
Yeah, I have. Where can I share, ma'am?
You can put it on the chat, sir.
Okay, ma'am. I will say to you.
Sure,
Thanks,
sure.
ma'am. Thanks.
Venu.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, hi Venu. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. I am from SOBM Software Solutions from Chennai.
All right.
Ma'am, can I get this documentation related to this digital health scheme?
You mean the
Yeah,
PPT
this
or the recording?
No, ma'am. This PDF, the documentation which you shared.
All right, all right. We will share that to you. We will put on the website also in 2-3 days.
Okay, fine, ma'am. And one more thing, ma'am.
You can put your email ID to us. We will share that with you.
Sure, ma'am. And one more question, ma'am. We have got our client ID and client secret related to the sandbox. And currently, I am the person who is doing that M1 integration part. Can I get to know that to whom I can contact? Like we don't know who is our POC and we don't know whom to contact. I just mail to that integration.support mail.
Yeah, sir. First of all, let me know what is the your entity type might be private.
Yes, sir. It's a private entity.
Sir, the problem, sir, the thing is that there is only one medium where you can reach out. That is integration.support, and the team will surely get back to you. Rest is that you can get your name noted, and we'll surely forward your request to the concerned team.
Okay, actually, the M1 part is a bit easy, sir, compared to the M2 and M3. We are facing certain issues by doing that.
Sir, for the time being, what you can do is that there is one webinars that are given to you on the Sandbox application. When you go on, there is a link that is sandbox.abdm.gov.in. Okay, you open that. There is one resources section, and in resources section there is one webinar section.
Yes, sir. We are going through that.
So you can refer to that webinar 10. I think so. Webinar 9 or 8. That is regarding M1 only. So it has all the APIs that are, and even the documentation is also uploaded for that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so you can refer to that, and I think so you won't face any problem regarding M1. And if you're facing any technical issue, then you can surely forward it. Rest, the APIs are clearly demonstrated there. You'll not face any difficulty.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Mr. Praveen Kumar.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, sir, good evening.
I have two things. So one thing is already discussed a lot, but I will again repeat. Exit process from Sandbox is really getting difficult for most of the participants. Like I am a HMIS provider, and more than 800 hospitals are already using, 100 big hospitals are using, but I am having that difficulty. Now I want to confirm one thing. I have done a lot of mail and all, and I have one mail from sumansoft.com, abdm@sumansoft.com. Now they have suggested certification, implementation, and all those consultancies. But I want to confirm that is there any government agency giving this kind of consultancy to complete this exit process, or we have to pay that huge fee to third parties?
Sir, I think so for security audit, I think so there would be some government agencies that would be referring to your security audit report. But for functional testing, I think so you need to get it verified from the respective agencies. But for the exit process, I think so you can complete your exit procedures yourself only if the email ID is yours, your respective email ID. So you can complete it by yourself. You just need to upload your security audit certificate, functional testing report, and the respective GST or organization GST or PAN certificate for the Sandbox exit procedure.
Okay. Now, ultimately, until we are integrated with ABDM, there is no use. Now, for integration process, we have to go through some agency which you have specified. Is this the scenario, or there is other way where directly we can
Sir,
do?
for integrating, if you are asking for functional testing or security audit, yes, you need to refer to some of the agency if you are private. Okay. So you need to refer to some of the agencies for functional testing, and that cost you have to only bear it.
Okay. And Suman Soft is one of the agency.
Sir, I am not. You need to check your for security audit. You can check it on the certain impaneled agencies, or there must be some document that must be provided to you for functional testing report.
Why don't you share this, that which are the agencies who are going to do this thing?
Sir, we cannot share it. Okay, that is your call, and you can download it from the certain website. We cannot provide it. We cannot provide you that.
Miss, what I am trying to understand, how NHA is going to do this thing. Now, what do you suggest us to do?
Sir, we cannot suggest anything. It's totally your call.
And second part is like we are having a ERP level HMIS. Then the pathology is one module out of that, and then radiology is there, pathology, and so many others. Then how would you count a patient? The thing in beginning which you have been explaining, ma'am have been explaining about 5 rupees per. But one patient which comes who comes for OPD. He will go to pharmacy also, he will go to laboratory also, he will go to radiology. Then all those things will take place within that span of the transaction. Then how we will count that?
Sir, we would be able to count only one transaction for that day.
Okay.
We will not be able to count it as 5 because it is not applicable as per 1 and 5 clause. So one transaction per day can only be counted.
Right. But if a LIMS is separate, let's say in the same hospital, then you will be counting 2. For LIMS, you will be counting 1.
Yeah,
for,
because then the entity is different now.
Yes.
Then
Yes,
we will count as 2.
Then again the same
we
thing.
will count.
That way, like the same provider is providing it, all the facilities will be losing on that.
Sir, this is what the policy says as of now. But if entities are different, we would count as 2. But if the entity is same and the patient is same, then only one transaction per day can be counted.
Fine. Now, again, my concern is not the incentive. My concern is that integration part, and please see into this. I will again request not only me, many other HMIS providers are struggling to get integrated, and you have to simplify that process somehow.
Sure, sir, sure.
Thank you.
Shilpi, you have any question? Gaurav Banerjee.
Yes, I have some question. I have already posted in the chat box. However, I'm telling that also. We have created a virtual facilities for Shastro Ingit. We provide teleconsultation service in Shastro Ingit. So we are eligible for DHS or not?
Yeah, teleconsultation is eligible.
But again, virtual facility is not eligible.
No, so basically you are a digital solution company only, right?
Yes.
But then teleconsultation is going to be eligible. Only thing that virtual hospitals are not eligible.
Okay. Okay. And my next question is, if a facility register for DHS in mid of April, will they able to get the entire initiative from January 2023 to till date?
Yes, yes. But from January to March, you will get as per the old policy. And from April, you will get as per the new policy.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Nisha Singh. Nisha Singh.
Yeah, hi.
New policy is it change হয়েছে?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, Nisha, tell me.
Yeah, so my first question was included by Mr. Praveen that you will be counting the transactions happening for the same patient as one, be it in lab or
Right.
diagnostic or everything. So I would request you to relook into it because a hospital will want one solution which will solve all their problems if they are getting all the modules in one solution. And the second question I was having was that if a patient is admitted in IP emergency or daycare, in that case, how you will consider the transactions, how the counting will be done?
So counting would be happening as per the same clause.
So if the patient is admitted for suppose for 10 days, and during that in that duration, patient will be having multiple lab tests and everything.
Correct.
So you will be
So we
counting
would be able to count as 5 out of those 10 days stay.
Okay, no
5
matter the
transactions.
transactions are related to laboratory and everything. So you will completely against that particular UHID, you will count as 5 transactions.
Correct. 5 transactions.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay, Nisha. Dinesh.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to check if this is applicable for blood banks as well. We have a blood bank traceability software which is used by government hospitals and blood banks.
Right now, our facility, right now, our policy has not included blood banks, but we might consider it in the future. Right now, it is for hospitals, labs, and clinics. So you are an independent blood bank.
Yeah. So AIMS Hospital, ILBS, a lot of government institutes are using a solution which tracks the entire donor cycle, wherein a lot of HIV, HBsCG, SCV, MPV, VDRL tests are done. The antibody screening has been done and stuff like that. So
Dinesh, we might include it in the future, but not right now.
Okay, sure, fine, thank you. Because I mean, we recently got a request from our customer AIMS Hospital Blood Bank that they want to. I mean, they have got a mail stating to be a part of APDM, so they wanted us to be a part of it. So that is how I wanted to cross-check as such.
All right. Dhruv, you have any question?
Yes, I have a couple of questions. First, related to that facility QR code. How we will be able to get this QR code?
The QR code of the facility?
Yes, the QR code of the facility that can be scanned by PHL.
So you can contact the IT department of that hospital. They can help you with that.
To generate the QR code of the facility, first of all, your software should be ABDM compliant.
Yes.
Okay. Second thing, it should be live with milestone 2 at least. Second thing is that the software which you are using, its bridge ID should be linked with it. And when you will link it, there would be an option to generate a QR code for the facility. Okay. So then you can generate it.
And now,
by logging into the you need to log in onto the HFR. Okay. The facility manager. Sir, the facility manager.
Sorry, go on.
So the facility manager, which is creating a facility or uploading the facility data for creation, so he can log in with his HPR ID, and then he will create that facility and then link the bridge ID with that facility, and then it will get the option to generate the QR code.
Okay. So for the sandbox, I created one facility and I created one professional ID, HPR ID, and I able to link with my bridge, and I able to generate that QR code. But as per that standard documentation, that the QR code contains a ABA ID in that middle, and all that things are to be implemented. But that generated QR code doesn't have those details, and that's why I was
first of all, while generating the QR code, there are a set of APIs that you need to pass on. There might be a documentation of scan and share that would be shared with you. after generating the QR code, you have to implement those APIs. And secondly, you should have your queue management tool available with you, which will manage those tokens.
That tokens are generated at the time of the sharing, performing a share profile functionality. Right now, I was just talking about that generating the QR code that can be placed at that facility desk or that OPD registration desk, and from that desk, that patient can be scanned. That QR code can be generated by API, or it must be generated by that UI you are referring right now. Is there any?
Sir, the QR code which would be generated, you can keep it anywhere at the hospital. Okay. Respective help desk you can arrange or whatever you want to think. That is totally your call. At whichever hospital you want to implement, scan and share.
The second question is related to that care context linking. In that milestone 2, the patient can discover that care context and link by themselves. So in that scenario, who will be getting this incentive?
Sir, can you repeat your question once again?
Yeah, sure. So in the milestone 2, that patient can discover that health record and link this health record with the care context. Now, as the patient himself or herself can link that records at that time, who will be getting this incentive? A patient or the hospital or that service provider?
See, sir, as I told you in the eligibility criteria, that the hospital is going to get 20 rupees per transaction after 100 transactions are crossed. Against that particular hospital, as a digital solution provider, you are going to get ₹5 per transaction after that particular hospital has crossed 100 transactions. So basically, both the hospital as well as the software provider, they both are getting incentives with that transaction.
But as per
patient is not getting it.
Okay, so as per that laws or clause, whenever we are linking any health record with that consent manager, at that time that incentive will be calculated. Correct? Now the patient is going to be linked. That health
record link वो किसके नाम पे जाएगा incentive?
Yes, वो किसके नाम पे जाएगा?
So आप PHR ऐप के लिए स्पेसिफिकली पूछ रहे हैं क्या?
Yes.
So PHR ऐप में भी देखिए हॉस्पिटल को तो जाएगा ही, प्लस हॉस्पिटल में जो HMIS यूज हो रहा है उसको जाएगा इंसेंटिव यहाँ पे, लेकिन PHR ऐप को नहीं जाएगा, जो कि मैंने आपको स्लाइड में ही बताया था. पर हॉस्पिटल का जो HMIS है उसको जाएगा. ये स्पेसिफिकली मैं आपको स्कैन एंड शेयर की बात कर रही हूँ.
सर उसके ये कह रहे हैं.
No, I'm not talking about the scan and share. I'm just talking about that linking of that health record. Am I audible?
Sir, just a second. Just give us two minutes, sir. Yeah.
Sure.
So, sir, basically the hospital and HMIs both will get the incentive in this case.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I have a couple of two more questions. One is related to that if the patient using a multiple ABA address, then the incentive will be calculated on the ABA ID or the ABA address.
ABA address.
by address. That
Right.
can be @ABDM.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
And now I have the last questions. We are building some sort of solution for that HIP, HIU, Health Locker, and the PHRS. And now, can we define a different bridge URL for that each type of that individuals?
Yes, sir. It is up to you because I think so. Every bridge ID cannot be same for every solution. Okay. So in that case, it would be different bridge ID for every health solution. So you'll have to build a separate bridge ID. You need to register on Sandbox separately.
Okay, and for
each solution.
We need to get that client ID and the client secret for each and every solution.
Yeah. For each and every solution.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. That's it.
All right, sir. Balkrishna Yadav.
Hi, good evening, ma'am, and good evening, everyone. My name is Balkrishna. I'm from Tattva Foundation, and my question is regarding. So actually, we developed a HMIS for the government of Nagaland, and that HMIS is running in 11 district hospitals in Nagaland. So now we are in process of integration with Abha. So we have almost done those things. So my question is like in the Nagaland, as the internet and all those things are not very good. So we have established separate servers in each hospital, and if those hospitals will be connecting, and as we have one ID like that bridge ID, so can all those 11 hospitals separately can use same ID, or how it will be, how they will
they can use the same bridge ID. They can use the same bridge ID, sir.
Okay, they can use same bridge ID, but how they will be differentiated?
So they would be differentiated on the basis of their HFR ID. You need to register those facilities on Health Facility Registry. So there would be assigned separate IDs, and based on that, they would be differentiated that how many hospitals would be sending how many records.
Okay, so for each hospital, they have to sign in with their hospital, that HFR ID.
Yes.
HFR portal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and one more question. Actually, here in UP, we have developed another application which is called Mantra application, which is a labor room application. So and it is being used in entire state. Around more than 5,000 facilities are using, and that is only for the labor room. So for that also the process will be same, right?
So does it contain any kind of HI types like health record you are saving? Is it an HMIS that is being used for the labor room or something like that? Any health record? Hello? Sir, are you there?
Yes, we are saving the entire. Am I audible?
Yeah, sir. Yeah, you're audible, sir.
Okay, so yeah, we are creating a health record. Like we are digitizing the process of entire delivery process from the admission to the discharge. So that is kind of a health record, and we are capturing that. So that also can be linked.
Yeah, you can use that sandbox. You can use but the process would be the same, but you will have to go through each and every milestone. That's it.
Yeah, we are in process of that also, and that is also for the government of UP, for the NHM. So, yeah.
Continue.
Yes. So same process will be here also. Like there are more than 5,000 facilities. So but here the server is one, and data is being stored in one server, and they are using the mobile application, and they are capturing data from mobile application. So how can we differentiate here that this record is from this facility? We have anyways we have created the login IDs for each facility. So do we need to combine their HFR ID with that login, or?
Sir, that would be required. That would be required.
Okay.
For each and every HMIS, separate HFR ID is required, because there is no solution that we can link multiple HRPs, multiple HRP with the same facility. So you need to, every time you're linking a solution, you'll have to separately register your facility.
Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Aparna, are you there?
Yes. Yeah, I